computer here and then do this.
And here, you got the recording icon in the upper left. We're good.
And then I want to do tool. Oh, I want to start slide. There we go. All right. Oh, and let me go to the two. All right. Okay. So, I mean, this is for PC, so I'm not really sure about how Linux and Mac work on this. But this is your environment. You might want to just get this ready to go as well, because basically, so Maven and a lot of other Java stuff wants to usually look for a Java home or JRE home to find out where your Java SDK is, and Maven has that as well. So you got a Maven and Maven. So there's a Maven home.
Hold on a second. Are you supposed to be showing your screen right now? Because we're not seeing your screen.
Oh, I thought you did.
Nope, you accidentally turned it off to hit the record button.
Oh, yeah,
I got you.
But there we go. All right. Because I double clicked on it, so I don't know.
Oh, good. Yeah. It happens. That's why I figured that. That's why I figured I'd mention it.
No, thanks. I didn't know. All right, so so I set these up. Normally, I will set up a Java and the Maven. I'll set these up in my environment. So if Java is looking, or for me, it's just if I'm running a Java from the command prompt, it will know where my Java is. And usually I would just add the path in. So what this will do is I just do a Java home and then point it to the directory of the folder where it is. JRE is the same directory as the Java home. Is the same as Java home. So both of these, and then I just append this to the path. Just say Java home to bin. So that's where the bin file is. So the binaries are.
Jim, where do you put these in? Where are these variables going and everything?
Huh?
Where do you add this to? What is
this? What you'll add to your environment, which would be your, if it's a PC. See, I don't know where the environments are for the.
You click in the search. You open up the search bar and type in ENV.
If you go to system here, if you go into system.
Hold on.
You go to
two people.
You go to the search bar and type in ENV. It should pop up. If you go down to the Windows search bar, like when you type the search, and type ENV down, like in the corner.
I have a quick question, actually, very, very simple.
You found it right there.
Are you guys talking about environment variables?
Yeah.
Then you should be able to do this from the terminal.
Yeah, you could use the set command. Yeah.
No, it's set or in Bash. It's export.
Export, yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Like PC, I set them right in here.
And again, that can be done in both PC and Mac. If you have Git Bash installed or the Linux terminal for Windows setup, you can use the same command. That's why I try to use a lot of Unix commands, because you can do them in both Windows, Mac, and Linux. So all three operating systems are handled if you use a Unix command line. That's why we teach you guys, why we have you guys use the terminal throughout the entire course of Career Devs, because Windows has added it to it, and Git Bash is installable on Windows, and Mac uses a Unix terminal as well as Linux. That's why we teach you those commands. So I would highly recommend everybody to, if you're going to do environment variables, just with the Unix system and use export variable name equals value. That's going to be a lot faster setup and configuration, and it will. It just also looks better that you're using the terminal during an interview. That would be my recommendation. But that is the way to do it in Windows.
Yeah, but yeah, so you could just use it anywhere. So I was just doing that in case, so we could just wait in case, because if you set it, does that mean that it's going to actually like be permanent?
Yes, environment variables are settings for the entire computer, not for each project. Those are not project-specific settings. Those are system-specific settings.
Yeah, those were too. But I was just wondering about, do you have to reboot it after you do it?
No, it's just like setting a variable. Once you set it, it's in the system. So if anything tries to access it, it'll get it. And so we used to access those in Node by doing process.env.variable name. If you never set it, it would just come back as undefined. If you want, as soon as you set it, the JavaScript system would then have access to it. So same with Java. Once you set it, it's there. As soon as Java tries to access the item, that's all it is.
So by doing that and running, say, Java from your command, it'll know what you're talking about when you're typing that into your terminal. And then you can run Java commands without having to be in the bin folder. Is that what that's saying?
Yeah, when you set these up, you can pretty much, you should be able to run the Java compiler and Maven from anywhere on your system, and no matter what directory you're in or what folder you're in.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it just like goes right across, so you can just run it when you need to.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing I do want to point out is that that word path should be all caps. So the path variable in most systems is all capitalized. Almost all environment variables are capitalized. So the variable path is PATH capitalized, just like Java home and GRE home. Environment variables by standard practice is all caps. Can you make non-all caps environment variables? I believe so, but I've never seen them because it's just the standard practice to make them all caps, that you know they're environment variables.
And I have Ant and Gradle in here. Because this is just one of my, I have a file with just the basic of all like Java, all Java related things. So I just put these here. I know we're not gonna go over Ant or Gradle at all, but I just put them in there because that's why I just have, when I want to set something up, I'll know how to set them up. So, but basically it's just Maven and Java we're working with. So if you want to set those up so you can actually run it, you can. I don't know. I guess we could start now. I guess we can. We guess they're not coming in, or they'll come in later.
I think the only one missing is David.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll just start. So, yeah, basically, Apache Maven is the popular tool, as it says here, that takes your Java source code, compiles it, tests it, and converts it into an executable Java program, either to a jar file or a war file. A jar file is the Java file. And a war file is actually a web Java file. If you're doing everything totally in Java, like you're doing the web front end and the Java back end, that would be a war file. And everything would be compiled into one file. But I know we're doing like React, and with a React front end, I think there's a way of actually having the React to be built into the Java file, so you can actually have the whole thing running at once. But I was kind of working on that, trying to figure that out. But war file, I don't know, unless you decide to do like Timeleaf or some other type of front end for Java, you probably won't need a war file, unless you plan to do everything in Java. Oh, and then a clean install. So here's where you download the, I just sent over the download for that, to download the binary from them. And the other one is this right here, the repository. This is, I don't know if this will pop open. Okay, this will, okay. So the Maven repository, I might jump all over the place. I'm so horrible. Anyways.
You're good.
Got it, man.
So yeah. So if you need a dependent, so basically a Maven file is like an MP. It's like your package JSON file in a Express or in a React application. You have all your dependencies listed inside the Maven file in a POM file. POM.xml is the file. I'll show you, those will be shown in just a little while. But if you want a dependency, you just go into the Maven repository and you can grab any dependency that you're looking for. You can type in anything in here that you're looking for. You can even look for Spring Boot. And if you wanted Spring Boot stuff, you could certainly grab, you wouldn't need to use the Spring Boot initializer. You could certainly grab everything from here and build it yourself. Spring Initializer is nice because it just does everything it does. It sets up the package for you without, it does it all by itself and automated, which is really nice. But you can certainly go through here and grab any of the dependencies that Spring Boot has. So, and then if you were doing like a web scraper, you could do Selenium. And here's all your Selenium plugins, all your dependencies for them. So if you wanted to say run this Java client driver, you would just click this, you would select the version that you would want and say, I'm going to do that one. And here's your dependency right here. And this dependency, when you click on it, it will copy it for you, and then you can insert it into the POM file. So this is where you would get majority of your dependencies if you're looking for some type to do your build. You know, all right, I went through that one already. Let's see if I have. I thought I had this a little bit better. Yeah, let me back it up. So in a Maven file, and a Maven, when you generate a Maven file, you have these parameters. You have these parameters to fill out to generate the Maven file, to generate a Maven project. The archetype, and you've got a group ID. You've got the application that you're actually, artifact ID would be the application name that you're actually using. The archetype artifact ID is the, so Maven has a bunch of archetypes, which are quick setups. They're templates that are generated from people and other people. You could generate your own. Archetype. So you could generate a project template. So you could just say, you could just type in all this information and it'll just pop it right out and then set up your project exactly the way you want it to have it start off. And then there's a version and the interactive mode. The interactive mode is false. I'll show you what that one, if you do it, is true. So, and here's how it breaks down. The archetype you generate, group ID. So you see the group ID.com. If I go too fast, just tell me if I'm going too fast, or if I need to slow down, or if you have any questions, just ask.
Really quick. So, what was it? The other day I was looking into creating a Spring Boot using Maven inside of IntelliJ. So all that stuff was what was popped up on the screen when I clicked to create a new Maven project, right?
Right.
That's what it was asking me to input all the information for that.
Right.
So this makes more sense to me now, because I didn't understand what it was asking for.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was talking about.
And
Okay.
you can see how it all works, because how this right here is the project layout, and this should look kind of familiar as you've been doing a lot of Java projects. They're all like they do layout here. So the group ID.com mycompany.app, you can see how. So my app is on the top. That's the artifact ID. Is my app up here. That is the root. Then you got your POM XML that has all your dependencies in it, and basically all the Maven header with all the dependencies to it. So we'll know what to download, what Java files, or what all your dependents and all your dependencies. I can't think of the other word. So, but then you go down to source, then you go to main, then you go to Java, and here's where it comes out to be .com. Then it goes to my company. Then it goes to app. And then it makes an app.java. This is a default. I haven't found a way of changing this per se. You can't really, I think you might be able to change this, but this is usually just this generates an app.java. You can change this after you, when you go into the project, you can actually change that. Maven archive quick start generates this file, generates this layout. Because it just basically gives you this one file that says hello world in it, and just basically get you up and running as a Maven file, as a Maven project. The archetype 1.4, I'll go into the versions in a bit. And then the interactive mode, again, I'll show you how that works. If you change that to true, we'll show you what that will do. So I don't see here. Yeah, archetypes is a Maven project template toolkit. An archetype is defined as the original pattern or model from which all things are kind of made. Name fits in trying to provide a system to consistently generate Maven projects. And you can author yourself your own archetype. So like I said, you can actually generate a web scraper archetype. So if you were doing a lot of web scraping, you could just set up a one template and you could just bash out a bunch of them and try different things, or you can always have it so you can always go back, so you don't always have to generate a new project all the time or create a new project every time and rewrite everything again. So let me go here. So and the way that works is here. So let me go back to let's see here. So that's why I want two screens to have one on one and one on the other. Okay, so if you're using PowerShell, you have to use the quotes around all the parameters. In a command line, you could just do it straight out. So this is the one I wanted. So the example I just showed you over there with that, with all that, with the directory structure and everything, here's how this would look on the command line. Maven, MVN is Maven. It's the batch file, the command file to make it run. You generate the archetype, and you type in D for the group.com, and type in artifact equals my app D, and the artifact ID, artifact version, interactive mode, false. So if you do all that, that's up here. I don't know if I can make this bigger. Can you people see this?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so if I run this right here, I just did exactly what that had. So if you do that, it'll start running out the it'll start building and start creating the project. So here it goes. Now it's just generating. It tells you your parameters. It tells you what snapshot. So the value of version, you'll see it say 1.0, 2.42, and you'll see snapshot. Some of them will be without snapshot, and some will be with snapshot. Snapshot is the beta, well, not beta, it's the new production where it's being developed. The snapshot is the developer's version of it. It's like new stuff being put into it and such like that. So snapshot you want to use as a development, but then if you want to use production, your production should not be a snapshot. It should be an actual it should be an actual like 1.0, 1. Or 2.42. It should be an actual thing. So, and then once you build and you build it, and then once you put out and do a release on it, you should change it out from snapshot to a regular build because it's more stable. So this just generated my app. So if you do a directory, you see I have my app right here. We do my app. dir. You'll see I have a POM file here. Well, let me also run it. Let me also show it in here. Be easy too. So I got my app. I've got the POM file, and I open up the POM file, and you can see here's the POM file. It generated this up here. It generated this whole entire thing, and basically all has just plugins of making it work. And there's only one dependency in here right now. The only dependency it actually installs is the JUnit dependency, which is the testing dependency to do unit testing. So here's where the dependency is the only one that gets put into this one. So then so to run this little guy, oh, and I'll show you. So here's the source. Then you've got main, and then you've got test. You go to main, you go to Java, and then you got com, my company app, and then there's the little java.app. The little java.app has hello world, and it just does a string, and the system outputs hello world. So you can do, let me bring this thing over here. So after completing this, you can do Maven, MVN, and then the default is package. There's always, you can always, I think you can actually change this to anything you want, but it's just generally package. So if you run the package, it'll start building it for you. It brings down all the plug, it'll start downloading all the resources. It'll download what it needs to run it of any of the dependencies. And then it will just continue, and it'll tell you if the build's successful or not. And it runs, and it goes through and runs the test to make sure it actually does work. Here's where it runs the unit testing to make sure that the tests do run. I had one test run, 0 failures, 0 errors, 0 skipped. And it tells me that one test run, so it looks like it should be working. So at this point, you can do Java -cp, and then you do target, because it will build a target. After it builds it, it'll build a target directory. And then you do my app, which is the name of the app that you're running. And then 1.0 snapshot, because that's what I'm snapshot, because that's the version I was running, that snapshot .jar space. Then you do com dot, you do the website that you were doing, my company .app. Then the last one's .app. The last one, app, is the actual application you're running. So I'm running this public class app. This is where I'm starting with. This is the only one in here, obviously, is app.java. This is what I'm running. So when I hit enter, it comes back and says hello world. Yay, it works. Now I can go in here and actually change this and say like career devs, save this, and go back in here again, and then run try running package again. Try running package again. See if this actually works. I think this is how it works. I think I might have to do a clean install again.
So you're not able to just run that code
Yeah, there
again?
it is. So I ran package, right? I ran the I took the file, I changed it, saved it, ran MVM package again. It goes in. See, now look how this works now. So I run package again. Package goes in and says, it encodes. Now notice this line right here. It says change detected, recompiling the module. So it knows that I changed the module and knows that I resaved it. It's different. So it recompiles it again and re-puts it back in again. And then it goes through and it runs the test again and comes back, and now it says hello career. Well, I spelled career wrong, but hello career devs.
So Jim, if you didn't run that package command, it would have still printed out hello world. It wouldn't have known and edited and so like if you didn't run package and just reran the same, like if you change that back to hello world. And
Yeah,
then
let me do this here. I just corrected career devs because I misspelled it. So right now it says career devs. I think this, I don't know.
Yeah, that's how you spell it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, all right. So now if I go back and try to run this again, yes.
Yeah.
It'll probably still come back and say yes, see?
Ah, okay. So you have to recompile it. That's what the
Yes.
package is doing. Okay.
Yeah, you got to recompile it again. Now you can do a, so now if I run it again, now I did it again. Go back down forward again. Now see, now it's changed again. Now you could do an MVP clean, and then I think clean will. I think clean cleans out and wipes out all the dependencies, I believe, and cleans out the project. And then if you do a MVM clean install, you could do an install without cleaning as well. And I think what the install basically, I think does is basically what npm install does when you have like no dependencies, when you bring down a React project where it has no dependencies in them, you can do that to be able to install them again if you needed to install them again.
So clean removes all the dependencies, and then install adds them all back from the POM file, reads the POM file, and reinstalls them.
Right. Oh, I didn't see it right in Zoom. Where's my Zoom?
How do you see it from when you're sharing screen?
Oh, here we go. Oh. I didn't see him in there. So where am I in my slides now? Okay. Hello.
Yo.
Hey. Let's change this. Okay. So. Okay, so this was like the default on the website. Shows you how to just generate that little one there. If you wanted to, you can change these. Certainly, this would be like, so if I wanted to do this web scraper, I can change it to .com career devs demo and the artifact would be called web scraper. And I'm still using the quick start, and I'm still using the same thing, and this is how I would run. I don't think I would call it my app though. I would call it web scraper. I would call it web scraper. I don't know why I kind of messed that up. But then
Quick question for you, Jim. Not to pressure you a bit, but how much longer till you get to an actual code along? These are great, but these can be a little long.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, just show us, right? Just literally show us how to do it. Don't need a slideshow. Just say, here's how you do it. Type this, do that. There you go.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No worries.
I just okay.
Yeah, I can guarantee you that's gonna actually make your life easier too. They're trying to tell people what to do. Just do it and show them.
Okay. Okay, so if you do it, this one, if you do it, so doing a false, so what I just showed you is doing false. So you'd have to enter all the information. You still have to enter in a lot of the information in there anyhow, but this is what happens if you decide to do an interactive true. You would just type in, let me just, you would just type in octype generate. This is all you would need to do. So what will happen is this will come up like this. It's scanning the projects. It'll download it. It'll bring in all this stuff in here and generating an interactive mode. So here comes the interactive mode.
So you're doing that in the command prompt?
Yeah. So the interactive mode here is this. All the stuff that's showing on the screen right now are all projects you can actually grab. They're actually generated. And there's like a ton of them. So now it's going to ask you a filter. It asks you what the ID or what it is. 1736 is probably the Maven simple quick start. But you can see that all this stuff in here has all types of, these are all projects of different types. So you can type in something like quick start. And where's my last one? Oh, so here's quick start. So I got two quick starts in here. I've got this GitHub one. And it says a famous modern lightweight for framework, boot, security, JPA, time leaf, web. So let's just select number one.
Now, these are project layouts or project builds?
Yeah, these are project builds and layouts.
Okay.
I'll show you this. Group ID will have to be like, we could do like JFD dot app. So you still have to fill out some of this information. The group ID, you still have to artifact ID and the archive. So the archive, the artifact ID, I'll just call it my demo app.
So Jim, so basically the interactive mode is instead of putting it all in on the command line in one line, you go through and answer, pretty much put the input in for each field that it asks.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Feels
And
similar to
you
NPM
could
and
type in, instead of looking
Yeah.
at this whole list, if you know what you're looking for, you can actually just type in a search pattern on that line. And you can look for different starters, because they do have different starting Maven packages. Some of them have there's different quick starts, and the one that they just demonstrated is the easiest quick start. And then the snapshot will be 1.0. Now these sometimes have different snapshots. If I take a different one, it might have a different snapshot, and package will be the same. So you can hit enter and then you hit Y. I wonder if I have to. Oh. I don't know why that messed up. Oh, I just don't want to go through it all. Some of these I already generated, so that's why I kind of just wanted to show. A bunch of these I already like just generated. Which one is this one? All right. Oh, this one's a demo app. Oh, so I just anyhow. Even demo. Oh, active true. There we go. So this one I did I took right from I'd rather show some of these in the IDE.
Yeah, I was gonna say, go straight to the IE. I guess one of the things I wanted to showcase is another tool. So it's good to know that you can do these through the command line, but an easier thing for Springboot, you head to start.spring.io. It'll help you build a Springboot Maven package and help you pick and choose the Maven projects to build right in. It'll build you that whole POM file and everything.
Yeah.
Is that the initializer?
That is Springboot's initializer. Yep.
Yeah.
So it'll go through a lot of these command line systems for you just using a graphical interface, which can be really convenient. So knowing the command line is nice, but also knowing that you have this tool called start.spring.io, also very useful.
Is
Right.
Is one more what's the word? Like, do companies care like that? Like, would it look better if you use the command prompt, or do companies say just use spring.io? Like, how?
Depends on time frame. In most interviews, going start.spring.io is perfectly fine. If you knew you were going to be doing stuff more on servers where you don't have a GUI, doing command, showcasing that you know how the command line is going to be beneficial. So it depends also on the company you're going to, what you're working on.
Okay.
If you're going to be SSHing into servers, into GUI, no GUI servers, like you're serving into Ubuntu server, which has no desktop, none of those things, where you can't access a GUI, you can't access a website, then knowing the command line is going to be very, very useful because you're going to need that. That's why it's nice to know those things. If you're going to be using a Windows, Mac, or Linux system that has a desktop and has a graphical user interface, you're just going to be able to save time by using the start.spring.io. So knowing both options can be very, very useful and knowledgeable. So, and really just in the interview, just use the time allotted. So again, it's all about cost analysis.
But I have to say, by learning this to the DOS prompt, by the prompt and everything, I've learned a lot more than just going through like the Spring IO or going through just an IDE.
Yes.
I kind of learned a lot, like how these things are actually work and operate. I was kind of surprised by that.
Yep. That's why I said it's good to still learn the stuff, but don't forget that that can be useful for our convenience.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna briefly show you an Eclipse, only because I think that this is what, if you bought IntelliJ, actually has in it, built into it, versus, and I'll show you how to do it in IntelliJ, and I'll actually show you how to do other, how to actually use IntelliJ a little bit, how to do a Spring Boot one from there. But this is where I think, where this is why you would actually pay for it, because in Eclipse, you can download the plugins for Spring. So I can click on here in Spring and open up my Spring dashboard. And here's where I can actually just say, create a new project. I can say, create a new Spring project. It brings it up. It comes up from Spring IO. I say Maven. I go to 15. I want a Java file. I want a language in Java. I'll do the example. I'll do that. I'll leave that as being that. And I'll leave all these things as being defaults.
Yeah, what I'll say, what you see here is very similar to the website. So,
Yeah.
Mm.
And then I'll show the website after I just complete this part of it, so you can see. I can specify which one I want, which version of Spring Boot I want to use. And then here's all your dependencies. You could just type it in here. So if I would just want web.
before you move forward, why did you pick the one you picked? So you, in the Spring Boot versions, you went through and you picked what?
Oh.
Why did you pick 242?
Oh, well, that's
238.
default. I should be using like the snapshot.
No. Hold on. I want to say that you did that because the other ones are snapshots or non-finalized or non-stable versions. You always want to use the one that is the highest number that has no suffix at the end, because those are all unstable. They're snapshots. They're not considered stable by the Java or the Spring Boot, like the people who are controlling the Spring Boot version numbers.
Right, but I
So-
read that you should be using snapshot for development use, and then and then you would drop it down to a stable version for production, when if you want to release it to the
That's an
public.
option. It's something you can do. A lot of
Yeah.
people, like even myself, I would just end up using the stable version from the get-go because I would hate to have any new code that doesn't work in 242.
Mm.
So using new syntax in 250, or any new packages that don't work in 242, I'd hate to have an issue with a conflict. So,
The only difference here with these, actually it does do that. I was wondering about that. So, so if I type in web, the ones you usually want to start off with having Spring Web, because this builds the RESTful application and does the MVC, and it has a Tomcat server. So this is what you would want to use to have your web server running or backend running.
listens in response to HTTP requests.
Yep. And then there's all these other ones. I did not go through each one of these and look at them, but there's descriptions for every one of these. And if I don't know what other, like this one's for WebFlex and Netty, which I'm not using, so I wouldn't need to run that.
So what I can throw in here to help you out a little bit with that is if anyone has ever actually gone to the NPM website and looked at all the packages that are available on NPM, there are a lot of packages on there. So that's what you're going to see here too. There's a lot of packages that are available. It's up to you as a developer to know what are the common packages used, what are the most well-used ones, which one's going to fit for your use case. So Jim here is going to show you the most common ones. You as a developer also want to make sure you know what packages you want to use by default, the more common ones. And then for your project that you're working on, what additional packages you might want to need by just searching for it. Remember, if we ever needed something new in NPM, either a video would tell us we needed it, or we would have to Google search to find it. I learned about a package in Java called Moment I needed to print formatted dates. So I looked up how do I format dates, and I found about an NPM package called Moment. So same thing here. If I wanted to, I could look online for Java for a Java package or Maven package to format dates and see if there's one existing. So that's all I can say there. Yeah, so don't be nervous when you see all these packages. These are all packages that people have developed, released into the Maven system that Spring Boot can show. So there's going to be a lot. It's up to you to do your research to know which one you want.
So usually you just want to, if you're going to start, I usually would just start with these two. The Spring Dev tools, this restarts and reloads your server every time. So every time
NodeMon.
What?
NodeMon.
Yeah, NodeMon. Right.
Those are the best ways to teach things. Just find a parallel to something we already recognize.
Yeah, well, I forgot about that. Yeah. So these two are your basic. From here on in, you can add in your extra, you can go from there. You can type in JVDC. Let's see. You type in MySQL. This will give you MySQL driver. You know, like if you're doing
Right.
Postgres, there's your Postgres driver. You can add all these in, but
Try Hibernate for a second.
what?
Hibernate.
Oh yeah, that's in Hibernate area.
Yeah.
Um,
Type it. Right? I think that's in there, isn't it? No? Oh, where is
oh,
it?
it's just like
That might be in there. Oh yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. That actually has it. Yeah. Spring Data JPA, I think, has Hibernate in it.
yeah. So we got Java JPA. So you do have a lot to choose from. Yeah, so it's like SQL. Here's all the stuff for SQL. You've got the JBC API, Spring Data. Here's all your. So after you go through all this, then you start off with these two at least, and then you kind of build off from there for what you want to do for SQL, non-SQL.
Which those will be on the scope of this lesson right now.
Yeah.
You're just digging into the basics of Spring Boot. So
Right.
let the database people tell us what package we need for databasing.
Right. So and then you just click finish, and it'll start building and importing the contents in here. Let's see how well. Oh, there it is right there. So what's great about this is it just imports it in. It does all the work for you, and then it sets it up for a little demo over here. It starts bringing in. It'll download all the. It downloads all the dependencies for you and get yourself ready to go. And
Think of it as like npm install. Very similar.
And there we go. We're all ready to go in here. Demo, and there's my demo app. So what's nice is that you can go down in here and there's this little springboard here, and then just type in this and then just hit run, and it'll run it for you. You have Explorer over here where you can see any beans. So, but this is what I expect that this is what you would get in the IntelliJ's professional package. You get this type of interface built right into it. So let's go over to IntelliJ. So if I had to do this in IntelliJ, then I would have to do this. Go here. Spring initializer.
It's just start.spring.io, but there you go, right there.
There you go. So in here is what I would have to do from here. And same thing, it looks pretty much the same as what you just saw in what was in Eclipse. And in here I would add dependency. It brings up your dependencies. And on the top here, you just type in web and you select web. And
Wrong one. You did something reactive web.
Dev tools.
You did the Spring reactive web for some reason. You want to do just normal web, right?
Yes, thank you.
Notice that it was a bad click. I'm like, I think you did a bad click there.
Spring web. Oh yeah, it's right there. All right.
Yeah.
So then you do that, and then you would tell it to generate. And it'll download the zip file for you. Let me.
All you do there, if you haven't done it before, is you extract it and then just do a import on IntelliJ.
Right.
So don't open it, you import it. Make sure that's a key difference. And that's something that the morning group, when the person who taught this lesson there did that wrong as well, or didn't know that little additional steps. So that's something we had to do as well. So I'm going to help out with that one. You extract it, but then the one key difference that people can make a mistake on is that you try to open it as a folder. You want to actually hit the import feature of IntelliJ to import this project.
Can I ask a question quick?
Sure.
Go for it.
Jim and Cliff, I don't know if you guys knew this, but in IntelliJ, they actually came out with a plugin for IntelliJ that have Spring Initializer inside IntelliJ. It's called Spring Assistant.
Nice.
And
I knew
Is it
that
for
someone would do
community
that.
edition?
Say it
It's
again,
a-
Jim.
Is it for the community edition?
Yeah,
Jim, it's a
yeah, I had
package.
a free. Yeah, it's a plugin. It's a
Yep.
free, plugin off their internal. It's the same thing as like on VS Code. You can add plugins on there too.
Yeah, plugins are built by third-party members, so IntelliJ can't block plugins or say that they're not allowed unless they're like hackable, unless they're like hacks or something like that. They're open source and allowed. So yeah, no, someone could definitely bring it in. Now, not to say that a paid version of IntelliJ could have a more robust
Better one.
visual version of it, definitely, but Yeah, we have tons of packages that expand the benefit, that expand what IntelliJ can do. I figured there might be a package by now.
Yeah,
I
it's a
haven't really
very
looked into it,
simple.
but
It
yeah.
looks just like the one in Eclipse. It's just has everything listed. You pick everything and then type it all in, and it creates a Maven project straight from there too. So
That's
it's pretty
nice.
useful. Yeah.
See if this is the one I have in here. See if this is the one I want to have it work out. Yeah, this is it right here.
I'm not sure if you realize you are doing whatever you're doing on another screen. We can't see it.
No, I know. I just wanted to make
Okay,
sure that I actually
Just
have
checking.
everything I needed. The project here. So I brought in the demo Springboot, and I got it in here. And hopefully I can run this thing.
Well, like I said, if you did the import, then yes, you should be able to run it. If you open the folder, then
I
it
just
might
have to
not
find
work
it
right away.
where we're actually running it because
I think you might have to add the module.
Oh, here we go, right
add
here.
a project module.
You have to add the configuration.
Yeah. So go up into is it file? Oh, he's got it. Look at that.
There you are.
Look at that.
I don't like those buttons of always or something like that, so I always be careful of those.
Oh, that was beautiful. I did that really quick.
And
so
still importing. Hold on, still doing it. Look at the bottom left, bottom right. Sorry, see how it says indexing and stuff. It's still prepping and building things.
Oh, still indexing down there. Okay. I also found out that you can do if I have this as a project, I can go to tools. You can build templates. Yeah, save project as templates.
Yep.
So if I
That way
save
it'll-
this as a template, I can save this as a demo and it'll become like, like Spring Boot
A
default.
starting point.
Yeah, project.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I can just save it as that. And then if I ever want this one again, I can just go go back and it'll actually load this whole thing back again. So I can actually use this as like as a template footprint, blueprint, whatever you want to call it,
You can
and bring that
start a
in.
new project via template. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, how would you do that?
That was kind of cool.
Is it new project from existing sources? How would you?
Lisa, it's like file new from like template or something like that. So file new, and then yeah, probably from existing sources, I would believe. Yep.
Ah,
likely.
wow, that's awesome. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you would find the template. Believe so, but I'm just exactly where it is. I'm not sure. I haven't actually used the templates myself, so this one I'm not fully sure on. But I know that that's how templates work. You can open the template, and it creates a project based on the template.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You also might just need to make a blank project and then bring the template in that way too. So just a
those
simple
are-
Google search to use templates. I do like them, but I personally haven't used them much. I don't really.
I just
start
figured it
with
was.
a very complex item.
I just figured I found that like a week or so ago. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I can actually have it as a
Oh, yeah.
template, so I don't really have to run Spring Initializer all the time. I always have the project I want to build unless I'm changing the
Dependencies.
changing my project in any way. Oh, is this all set to go?
Looks like it should be, but the run command's still not ready.
No.
I feel like you didn't actually import though.
Run.
Run there, yeah.
Run right here. Let's see if this is going to show. Where's my
Click the terminal.
Terminal?
Yeah.
No.
No, click on that.
There we go.
Oh, there it goes. Yep. Oh, the run. There we go. Good call.
I like Eclipse because it has all this in color.
I don't care about color.
Well, color is nice because you can see if there's a warning or if there's something.
I think warnings will still pop up in red, even on this.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, start demo. So this is started and ready to go. All right. So, yeah, started demo app. And then I can go in here.
I have a question. Can you put that link for the Spring Initializer in the chat? Not this one, but the Slack.
Okay. The 80. So I set up a very simple that video we were running there that React that React Spring thing had this. This is really nice. I have a little test server here that I can just run these routes to test and make sure that it's actually running, that the server is actually up and running. So I know that something's working.
I'll let a lot of you guys know this falls under the umbrella of what's called test-driven development and testing items. This is something you can dig into if you see that in a, let's say you're looking at a company's hiring like post, and they mention a lot of testing or test-driven development. This you can look into. So testing what you create, creating scripts that test it. So you do. Everyone here does human testing. You definitely click around to make sure things work. You try to break it. That's human testing. Test-driven development and test teams or testers or QA teams, they actually write scripts to automate the testing so that whenever you make a change or build something additional, the testing scripts can make sure you didn't break anything that already worked before. And test-driven development, what that means is that you write the test first. You write a failing test. So you write a test that's going to fail because you haven't built the code yet. And what you do in test-driven development is you build just enough code to pass the test, no more. So if your test is returns a number, you write the code, return 0. That's your code. And then as you add more tests, your code will get more complex. So that's a whole other, again, that's a whole other avenue. No one needs to understand really that much about how testing works or how the testing systems work. If you want to get into it, that can be nice and helpful, but that's not required at this point.
Mm.
The testing can be very useful.
Yeah, so I have this little test routes over here, so I could test to see if the server is actually running, or if things are working or not. So I have this one route that, yeah, I have a route that just says, you go up and say testing, it says web servers running. So I know my Spring Boot is running. I know that it's the server's running in the background, and if I wanted to test this, I have a test. I have a few of them. There's a test bean. Test bean will output a.
Oh, wait, never mind. I messed up on that. I didn't notice what you're doing. These are just routes that you call testing. These are just routes that are here to test. Okay, ignore everything I talked about. This has nothing to do with testing development or automated testing.
Nothing you said was wrong because it's true.
Well, kind of, but this is not automated. I thought these were like
automated,
test scripts. My bad.
No, that's okay. This just returns this will return a JSON back. So this is good if you're wanting to make sure that make sure your back end is connected to your front end. You can have this test to see if this will actually respond. And then you can even go further. I have one more route to use. Testing / and then path. And then you can just type in any string in here. It's like hello. And it'll type in path hello. So I know my server is actually up and running. It's going. And
these routes will be something that Darius will be able to dig into more of these specific routes. What I'll say is everyone's challenge for at least technically Monday, but I would do it for Thursday so that if anyone gets stuck getting a project started, you can ask Jim before class starts. But I would say the homework for everybody would be to do a hello world get route. That's it. Get a Spring Boot web server up and running. Just show your first get map for test. That one mapping you have. Hold on. Click away. Yeah, hide that for a second. See that very first on line 14 to 15?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Line 14 and 15. That's it. A simple get request that returns a thing there. Make that your hello world for Spring Boot. So you want to do your Spring Boot hello world. Get a Spring Boot system up and running. Get it activated, get it where it's listening, and then create that one single get route that just says it's just /hello or just / and have it respond with hello world. That's it. And we want to make sure we can get that up and running. I would say you want to get that working no later than Monday, but I would say try to do it for Thursday. So if anyone runs into a problem getting their Spring Boot system running, the very start of Thursday's class can be kind of getting help from your classmates, from Jim, from classmates, coworkers. Does that sound like a good challenge? Any questions for Jim?
Yeah, how's it feel to finally be done trying to teach? But,
Oh,
but it feels good
that's fun.
because
I had this thing almost memorized like a week or so ago, and now I'm all
Nice.
frazzled because I kind of lost all my train of thought. But
I've warned you guys before, and I'll warn you again. What you plan to teach never is what ends up happening. You get questions, things don't work right, you
well, I
lose
don't mind
track of
questions
it.
and stuff, but I had like a sort of already script in my head how like
Right.
kind of the direction I wanted to go, and questions would pop up. That's no problem, but that's okay. And
I'm just saying, I was saying multiple things change it. No matter how much you plan, when you
Yeah.
actually get to the class, things always change on the fly. You always think of something different, like, oh, I didn't think of that, or someone asks a question, or you think of something different, or you pivot, you change. What you practice for, like I've done that before. I've stopped planning lessons weeks in advance, and I'll do them like a day or two in advance, because if I do them weeks in advance, by the time I actually get to the lesson, what I teach is not what I did. And it
No,
actually
that's
almost
not
hurts
worked
me.
out.
So it's one of, that's why I try to make sure that I tell you guys, keep your lessons when you do them yourselves to like half an hour to no more than an hour, because it's going to change incredibly. And what you actually end up teaching and how the path goes is going to pivot differently. You definitely want to practice and know the command's going to write and know what you plan to do. You want to definitely have a plan and have notes or something so that you know what you're going to do and what your approach is. But always be ready to shift and adjust, and don't be afraid for it to go a little off the rails and for it to shift a bit. But it definitely is nerve-wracking. I take it from someone who still gets a little nervous when I try to teach a new lesson.
Okay.
Um,
I have
yeah.
I have a question or three, depending on what the answer is on the first one.
I like that
That was
warning.
great. One,
Good.
maybe three.
Are
Go
we
for
gonna
it.
be recording the answers and questions, or are we gonna stop the recording?
Recording's still going. If you don't want your question recorded, hold off until I stop the recording, then ask.
Okay, all right.
But if you don't mind being recorded, then ask.
Yeah, I'll just wait after that.
Okay. Anybody else with questions for this lesson?
A few other things I'd
As long as it's within the scope of what you're doing. I don't want you starting to teach things that are in the other lesson plans.
no.
Okay, good.
This one doesn't. No, this one's.
Going good?
Yeah, I wanted to. It was. My other machine actually had a lot of the other things in here because I was gonna. Because
That's fine.
actually I was using NetBeans by Apache, and
Yeah, I don't think you needed to dig into that too much.
no, the whole thing wasn't really about digging into it, but this little area with services was. It actually I actually had a Maven. I actually had the Maven in here, and actually if I click this, it would show me like all the Maven dependencies like available, and you can just like click and look through them all, and you could just I was just
Interesting.
wanted to show you a little bit more of a tree instead of showing you that huge list and stuff. That was just
Like I said, you can also just go to the Maven website and search them that way too. So if you want to search, just like how there's NPM, the website for NPM, you can also just go to the Maven. There's a Maven directory online. I think it's actually just the Maven website. It's called the Maven repository. Yep, that's what it's called.
yeah
Maven repository, mvnrepository.com.
yeah that's what
I'll
showed
share
at
that in
the
there too.
beginning.
Is that actually it? Hold on. I don't know. Is this one I like?
Well, the Maven repositories just gives you
Oh wait, yeah, that's not it. That's not it. Right? No, that was something I looked into when I was trying to figure out something a little bit different. My bad. Maven.org, Maven Central Repository. Yeah. Go to Maven.org actually.
And,
Hold on. Go to Maven.org, please.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going. This thing's a little more technical. That's like a very, very technical one. It can be a little dizzying.
I'm gonna say it kind of had like the layout of
Yeah.
like a '90s computer.
Yep. So in here, go ahead and type like, yeah, your web, Spring Web or whatever it is. Right there. So you can click on that.
Oh, it's just
Version number. And there's your code right there that you can easily add it to your item. So you can find the code you need. And there's multiple Maven tools out there to show all the packages and stuff. So there's tons of them out there. So just be aware of it. Just like there's multiple ways you can search for NPM packages. You can look on NPM's website. You can look in GitHub directly. You can find the websites themselves or other people's directories. So There's multiple ways to find these packages as well and do research on them. So you don't have to go to any sort of command console only or some sort of tree on a computer. There's multiple ways to find packages, just like in Node, same in Java. You're gonna have multiple tools to find what you need. So, any other questions?
So, oh, just one more thing I wanted to show. So that Maven repository that I was at before that you can actually look at for the dependencies and such. I would use that if I'm looking for dependencies, but it's also really good is that if you started doing a Spring Boot project and you just did web and dev tools, and then you're like, well, wait a second, I need to put a database in, and oh, I want to put, authentication into it and things like that. You can go to the repository and actually take those from there and actually just put them in here. You don't necessarily have to go and do it through Spring. You don't have to go through the initializer again to initialize and make a new project with all those extra stuff that you missed. You can just actually just keep adding in your dependencies and keep building off that if you want.
Yep. No, that's what I was trying to show with that website. That little segment of code there, you copy paste that right into the POM file. Yep, good call. Yep. And as soon as you paste it in, you save the file. IntelliJ and Eclipse, I think both, will see that you modify the file and automatically update it.
Right.
And bring the package in. So, there. Right.
I don't know
Somewhere
anything
here.
else.
Sorry, if you go back to that page, that's the Apache Maven section. So see right there, Apache Maven.
Right here.
Yeah, copy paste that right into that POM file, and you're good to go. And it'll add that package. Yep,
That's cool.
And then you go in here.
Yeah,
I think I already have web in here, so
yeah,
I
it's
don't think
right
I need
there.
it again.
So you'll see it be the same thing. So,
Yeah, and it'll just go right in there. And error is out because it's not found. But I bet you if I save it, it'll actually build it.
Right. Hasn't found it yet because it's not installed yet. So
now, just to show another thing you can do is close this project out. Another thing you can do with this is, I used to do it this way because it just seemed to be easy. Create a new project. I want to create a new, I want to just create a new Java project. Is that an empty project?
top.
Oh, top,
there.
Java. Not any of these. Okay, next. No, next.
That's where you would select the template. Right, go back one. Those templates you built, this is where the templates are. So you can find the template you built. I don't know why it's not showing the demo one, but that's where templates can be. Interesting.
Next, and we'll just leave it as untitled. And so here's an entitled regular Java project. Now this is like, so this would be a Java project like we would do like with Go Fish and all the ones we did. Now say I want to change, now is it in here? I know we can do it from here. I know I can do this from here. You can take a Java file. Yeah, see, I already know how to do it from Eclipse, but you could do it in here too. You could take this Java file and you could convert it into, you could have the IDE converted to a Maven file for you if you wish. You can have it just do all the generating from the back, which I can't figure out where that you do it from here.
Somewhere here, I'm sure, but yeah, not sure where.
Because you could do it, because I used to do it in Eclipse all the time, because in the beginning, I didn't know how to generate, I didn't know what I had to fill out for a Maven project. I was like, well, I don't know what any of this stuff is. So, so I was like, oh, let me just start up this one here. So, but there, I did it in here with one of the other students. So this little sandbox is not a Maven project. This is just a regular. This is just from Mosh. So this is like a Mosh thing. So what I can do from here is I can right click on this. And I can go down here and go to Maven. Where's my Maven? Oh, what? Oh, don't tell me. It's gonna scoot over. I can convert this to a Maven project. I know I can.
And if you figure out how to do it, you can let us know in Slack. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're good. This is kind of extra stuff. So these are things that people can figure out later. This is not something that it's as important that you need to know how to do, because most times you would just want to build it from the get-go
Yeah.
instead of converting it
Yeah.
later. So I'm not going to worry about that.
Oh, here-
if you guys
oh,
want to learn
here it is right
how to do
here.
later.
So I
Okay.
could do configure and then convert
But
to major
again,
project.
my other big issue here is that you're showing someone what to do with Eclipse and where you're using IntelliJ.
Well, IntelliJ
not
does
really
it because
helpful.
IntelliJ actually does it because I helped one of the students here and we
Uh-huh.
converted to a Maven project. So you-
Yeah, I'm good. But
you
showing
can
us that you can do it in
convert these
Eclipse. Hold on.
What?
Pay attention for a second. Stay with me. Showing us how to do it in Eclipse doesn't show us how to do it in IntelliJ. So that's the
No,
one
but
thing
I
I'm
know you
pointing
can-
out. So whether or not you can, that's fine. But if you can figure out how to do it in IntelliJ, show us what you just
Yeah.
did doesn't really help. That's all. So it's cool to see that we can do it in IntelliJ, but no one really going to use it. So for now in the class, if you find out how to do it, let us know. Anybody have any? So let's go ahead and end the recording. You have to kill it because I'm not recording.
Oh,
So you can kill the recording when you're ready.
yeah,
Please.
where is-
Or I will take that control.
how do I get it out of the thing here? Oh, stop sharing?
Yep.
Oh, there it
And
is.
then you can kill the recording.
Stop recording.